Today we'll be looking at the early life and the current story of Call of Duty Ghosts Elias Walker, who is portrayed by Stephen Lang. Now, I've been working on these videos to expand our knowledge of the lore within Call of Duty. I have covered the stories of Modern Warfare and Black Ops from 1961 to 1984, and we have looked at the individual careers and lives of Captain John Price, Sergeant John Soap McTavish, Commander Graves, and many more. In order to keep our videos fresh, we will dive deeper into the history of these characters and learn more about them. Thank you for joining me and welcome to the early life and story of Captain Elias Walker. Elias Walker was born in 1976 in the United States, presumably California. And Elias Walker would join the military as soon as he was eligible to enlist. He would join the 1st Cavalry Division. Here he would meet some soldiers that would become his brothers in Gabriel Rorke, Keegan Russ, Thomas Merrick, and Alex Johnson. They would work many operations together, and at some point during his early life, Elias would marry a woman and have 2 sons, David Walker and Logan Walker. Sometimes this made it more difficult for Elias when it was time to deploy. During one of his deployments in the Tel Aviv War in 2005, Elias and his Tier 1 unit would become legends as they were sent to save patients from an occupied hospital.
It was a different time, a different enemy. 60 men from Tier 1 teams were sent to face down a force of 500 enemy fighters. Their objective? To force the enemy back from a civilian hospital and keep its occupants alive. For 3 days they held their ground, but the enemy's numbers were too great. The 60 were cut down to 15. They wouldn't last another night, and the enemy knew it. Under the cover of darkness, they evacuated the hospital, sending only one of their own to lead the way. The rest returned to the line and took up positions beneath the bodies of their fallen brothers. As they lay in wait, the blood from the dead poured over them. The sand stuck to their skin like a shroud, changing them, anointing them. When the enemy drew near, the remaining 14 rose out of the desert sand. They were like hunters that couldn't be seen, using stealth their enemies couldn't defend against. When the men ran dry of ammunition, they used their blades. And when the blades ran dull, they used their hands. When the dust and sand had settled, only one of the enemy had survived. He was picked up in the desert, wandering aimlessly, traumatized. He expressed warnings to others of a force so menacing and unbeatable, it could only be described as supernatural. He called them ghosts.
After this, they would return home, and soon after, Elias' wife would pass away, leaving him alone and with the task of raising his 2 sons by himself. This would become increasingly difficult as he was still active in his military career. 10 years later in 2015, Ghost Captain Rorke convinced the United States government to sanction an operation to execute the Federation's general, Diego Almagro, in Caracas, Venezuela. Here, Elias, who was now a lieutenant, would work alongside Rorke, Merrick, Keegan, and Ajax to finally kill Almagro. Now, the general knew that they were coming for him, and so he decided to destroy the dam in the city of Caracas, killing countless civilians, his own men, and many of the United States soldiers that were after him. However, the Ghost would survive this and would eventually corner Almagro in his chopper.
Everyone good? We're too heavy. Elias, I need you to... Shit, Rorke! Somebody grab him! The whole thing's shifting! It's breaking apart! We gotta move now! What are we doing here, Elias? We can't save him! Elias! We're too heavy! You gotta let him go! Elias!
Now after this, a search team led by Elias would begin, and they would look for their fallen captain for weeks, but he would never be found. They would be pulled from Caracas, and Rorke was declared MIA. 2 years later, in 2017, Elias is seen telling his sons, who are now teenagers, the story of the formation of the Ghost unit. And after this, they head back home. But on their way there, they start to feel tremors on the ground and massive clouds covering the sky. Due to Elias' knowledge of the Federation and the measures that the US had put out to keep them safe, he had an idea on what could be causing these tremors. And he believed that it was the Odins system, which we covered in our full story video of the Call of Duty Ghost storyline. Well, Elias orders his sons to get to the house while he makes his way to his truck, which he will use to get everyone to safety, and moments later he runs into his sons on the ground. Here Logan has sustained an injury, and Elias helps him into the back of his truck, and he quickly escapes San Diego and the destruction. As Elias is driving away, he realizes that an all-out war has just begun. 10 years later will once again go by, and it's now 2027. Elias would come out of retirement and take on the mantle of captain once again. Here he would command the remnants of the military and protect the civilian refugees behind the Liberty Wall, which is a massive wall separating the United States from the Federation-occupied Mexico. He also commands his two sons, David and Logan, who are now part of the US Army. One day he sends his sons out on a recon mission outside of the wall, and here they encounter a man named Rorke, who is seen taunting a ghost operative by the name of Ajax. Now Elias has kept it from his sons that he was a ghost and is the current captain of the elite task force. So once they return to Elias, they tell him about what they found, and Elias would later reveal the truth to his sons.
Dad, this whole time you were one of them. You're Ghost.
Try the Ghost. That's your commanding officer.
You boys have no idea how hard this was for me. But once I make a choice, there's no turning back. You and your brother still have a lot to learn, but you passed all your tests. Welcome to the Ghosts.
We're ready. We won't let you down.
There's no way you ever could. I'm proud of you. Both of you. It's all well and good. But what the hell are we gonna do about Rorke?
Rorke. That's the guy hunting the ghost, right?
Yeah, he's good. Very good. And he knows how we operate.
But how's that possible?
He was one of us.
After this, Elias would come up with a plan to capture Rorke. Their plan would be successful, and Elias would be face to face with his former friend and captain.
That's enough. What did they do to you?
Same thing you did. They set me free.
You taught me a long time ago. Ghosts don't break. Now, I'm gonna ask you one more
Everyone
time.
breaks, Elias. Why don't you ask your buddy Ajax? Well, he were still with us.
Grab his chair. Grab his chair. Bring that bastard over here.
So this is how it ends, Elias? You gonna throw me out of this plane?
You're gonna tell me all about that dig site in San Diego.
What? You gonna drop me, Lieutenant? Again?
Answer me, Rorke.
You really think you're gonna break me, Elias? Bring it on! Come on! Here I am!
Logan, bring him to me. It's over, Rorke. We beat you.
You haven't beaten me, Elias. You just made my job a hell of a lot easier. If you make it out of this, kid, come find me. There's always room for one more.
After the crash, Elias would regroup with his sons and the other members of his Ghost unit, and a few days later, while in their Las Vegas safe house, Rorke would launch an assault of his own and capture Elias, Merrick, David, and Logan.
Nice to have the family back together, isn't it? We're just missing our quiet friend. Where's Keegan?
You know I'm not telling you a damn thing.
No? Let's see if I can change your mind.
No! Son of a bitch, I'm gonna kill you!
Easy, Junior. I ain't even started with you yet.
Logan, look at me. Look at me, son.
That's right. You look at him. That's it. Show him how much pain he's causing you. Funny thing about your old man, he lets his men die to save his own ass.
Damn it, Rorke. This is between you and me. Leave my boys out of it.
You're talking to a superior, Lieutenant. Show some discipline.
You were never one of us. You're not a ghost.
Well, that's just because I'm better than you. Ah! I've always been better than you! But you call yourself a ghost? Ah! You're nothing. You and your sons are dead. Your name dies with you. Oh, he's still got a little life in him. Didn't he ever tell you not to aim guns at people? They could go off. Ah. That's it.
Logan! Logan!
Whew. You got fire in you, kid. I like that. Risking your life to protect your captain. You could learn something from him, Elias.
He's my son.
Yeah? And he's gonna get to watch you die.
No! God! I'll kill you, you hear me? I'll kill you, you son of a bitch! I'm gonna kill you! Motherfucker!
I'm proud of you, Logan. Everything's gonna be okay.
You are right, Elias. I'm not a ghost. I'm the man that hunts them and sends them back to the other side.
Now, Elias Walker passed away, but it's sad to know that we don't have a proper conclusion for his sons. He would be extremely saddened to know that Rorke captured Logan, but I think he would have 100% confidence in his oldest son, Hesh, bringing Logan back. This has been the early life and career of Captain Elias Walker.